welcome to this week's Chat with Chant. I'm back. This week Ian has a chat with Anthony, and of course we have Tim talking about his Toxic 10, and you get to join Ian on a little run round Wollaton Park. Hope you enjoy it.
Today I'm out with a special guest. I'm going to refer to him as a force for positivity around Long Eaton Running Club. Okay, he's a guy that you'll often see giving people great support and great encouragement on social media, and really embraced himself as a key member of the club. Today I'm out and about with Anthony Wright, my lady.
Hello. We
are going to go out and have a chat. There's a few things I want to find out about Anthony. He's someone who's overcome a fairly big injury, would you say? He's certainly out of action for a while, weren't you?
Yeah.
And we want to explore his marathon journey because he's got a great marathon time under his belt, and we're going to find out what the future holds in running. So now that the trainer's gone, not sure you can hear anything, we will crack on. Come on Anthony, let's go. So Mike, I think Anthony, you've been at the club or running for 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And let's get into that bit around the fact you've overcome a serious injury. What was the injury and how did it come about?
So it was about 15 months ago. I was doing the fractured marathon with the running club and did the first lap, finished, and it just felt like I'd hit a hard stone on my heel. It just felt really painful and just wouldn't shift. So I rested until it was my second lap. Did the second lap, felt worse, so I bailed out the third lap and someone else did it for me, and then it was okay after a little bit of time. I saw Mark sorted it out.
This is Mark Fisher,
Yep.
Sports therapist, yeah?
Yep, felt okay. Was running for a couple of weeks, not a problem, and then went to do a speed session and it obviously aggravated it and just flared up and I couldn't walk. It was just so painful to even put my foot down. But it was just at the point that I was getting into my serious side of the marathon training.
So at what stage then did you realise actually there's a problem here and you've got to do something about it?
It was after the second time it flared up. The first time it just kind of went away after the fractured marathon, but the second time it proper flared up and just wouldn't go away. So, you know, when you can't put your foot down to even walk without pain, you know that you're in for a bit of a rough ride. So.
And is that what it was feeling like? You couldn't put your foot down with any confidence without feeling a load of pain?
Yes.
And how long was you impacted or injured for that? You could feel that pain there.
The only time it actually stopped hurting was about 3 miles into a run. As soon as I got 3 miles in, the pain seemed to go, and it was fine. And then it was fine all evening, and the following morning, it's as soon as you get out of bed and you put your foot down, put some weight on it, that's when you know that it's plantar. So.
And how long did you have that for?
15 months.
Ooh.
Yeah.
A year, and of course that is a long time. And as we're running along here, I'm going to say you look like you're running with a fair amount of freedom.
Yes. Yeah.
And how do you feel at the moment?
I feel great now. It's so nice to be running without pain, but it's took 15 months to get that way. So, and a lot of hard work done by Mark and just in the background managing it at home. Best thing to do is rest, but I was marathon training, so I couldn't rest. So all I was doing was ignoring it and doing what typical runners do, thinking it'll be okay and it'll go eventually. But the only time it actually properly went was after the marathon got cancelled. I had 2 weeks rest, no running at all, no walking even, because I could feel that when it was healing, it was hurting to walk. And then I felt okay, so I went and ran 1 mile hard, and I got another flare up. Ooh. So I had another week of rest, and thankfully that was enough to get rid of it. So
and so you must have thought for a bit there, it's back with a vengeance.
Yeah, I did. It was so demotivational. But yeah, advice I can give anyone if you get it, stop running. Before I got it, I was probably the lightest I'd been in 20 years almost. I was certainly the fittest I'd ever been, because, you know, I'd only just started running. Before that I didn't do anything. So yeah, I was in a good place, and then it just knocked me for sick.
Hi, today I wanted to talk to you about something that's been dubbed the toxic 10. So this is the first 10 minutes of exercise where your brain is trying to tell your body, no, stop, don't do that. I'm quite happy just being lazy and not doing any exercise. And those first 10 minutes of whatever exercise you're doing, whether it's running or in the gym or something else completely different, can be a real struggle for a lot of people. And I do find with a lot of people who talk about running negatively, it's because they've never been able to get past that first 10 or even 15 minutes of exercise to a point where the brain has not given up, but has agreed with the body that it will just keep exercising, keep moving, keep the blood and the oxygen flowing around your body. So my challenge to you is to persevere with exercise, but also to make sure that you have a really good warm-up. Those first 10 minutes can make such a big difference to the rest of your exercise time. So it is important that you do a warm-up that's going to elevate the heart rate, that's going to get the joints loose and the muscles nice and warm, so that you're well prepared for physical activity. But also you need to think about how you're training your mind. What is it you're doing to help you get into a positive mindset ready for exercise? Think about how you're talking to yourself about the exercise. Think about things that you can say to yourself that will help you want to exercise. Whether it's visualizing the end of the workout, or whether it's just thinking about how much better you feel when you know you've done some exercise. That can all be really helpful and beneficial. So have a good think about that, and make sure that you try and beat that toxic 10 before you're ready to do your proper exercise.
So it's October, the leaves are changing colour on the trees, and what better place to explore them than here, one of Nottingham's finest parks, Wollaton Hall and Deer Park. Right, let's go and see what we can find on the run. So just an easy run today. We went quite long, well 15 miles yesterday, so we don't need to do too much, but it's just lovely to be out, the autumn colours, and look at the path. Sometimes you just gotta nip out and find these places to run and just do something a bit different, somewhere where you don't often run, and it's just nice for a change as much as anything. So if you're around in Nottingham and the weather's okay, even if it's not okay, just come and have a run around the park. It's certainly one you won't regret. It's a great looking park. I don't know how big it is, I may try and find out and stick some facts up. But today, plenty of autumn colours in the trees, and somewhere at the top up there is Wollaton Hall. There's plenty of deer here at Wollaton Park. You've got to be a little bit careful, it's rutting season. These guys with their huge antlers are aiming for supremacy, and the guidelines are 50 metres. This fella here is not 50 metres from me, let me tell you. You do not want one of them chasing you. Alright boys, nothing to see. Oh, hello. That's some sort of trying to show off his dominance here. But then, to be fair, there's not a lot I know about old deers. So here I am outside the front of the hall, and as you can see, it's a fair sized building. It once featured as the home of Batman in one of the Batman movies, and that is the view that you get from the front of it, so not too shabby at all. Just gone past the sensory garden as well, so ready to see and explore out on a run around Wollaton Park. So let us know how your run is going at the moment. Hope it's going well. If you have any things you'd like to see covered on the show, just let us know and we'll do our best to accommodate them. If you want to join me out on the run, feel free, just let me know. Listen, it's all about getting out there and meeting people and sharing their running stories, so feel free to get in touch down below. Take care. Now, having heard that you've overcome that injury story, it's not the only situation you've had to overcome, I think, in your running career, because am I right in saying you was once on the scales at 20 stone and a half?
20 stone 5.5 down.
Well, okay, I'll cut you short by a pound and a half. Let's not worry about that. So you were, I find it quite hard to believe. So that is some journey from where you were to where you are today. How do you look back on that time?
It confuses me how it even happened. I basically, close member of the family, got diagnosed with diabetes, and it gave me a kick up the backside to do something about it. As I thought, I'm getting more and more unfit.
So at that stage, you knew that there was something that had to be done.
Yeah.
And so you didn't need anyone else to tell you, because you already knew.
Yeah, I'd got up the stairs and be out of breath and just didn't feel right, you know, just felt really lethargic. So signed up, started doing Slimming World, and then on the first working day, I decided to walk down the canal. Just go for a 15-minute walk.
And is that something that you would never have normally done before?
No, never. And I got back to work, I was red in the face, everyone looked at me, asked if I was okay. And I was dripping with sweat, and I thought, this isn't fun. And I went out and did the same thing again the next day, then the next day, then the next day. Started building it up a bit, and in 3 months I lost 3 stone.
What state now do you think you could possibly have found yourself in had you not done something about it?
I dread to think. Bigger than I ever was, probably more unfit, and I dread to think. I really do.
Well, it's great to see you out running. So let's find out about your marathon running, because I know about a year ago, just over, you did the Chester Marathon.
Yes.
And if you look back on that now,
Yep.
I would say you were very dedicated, and you got your just rewards with a great time. How do you reflect on Chester?
I signed up to Tim's coaching. Tim wrote me a plan, and it was always with the intention of seeing how close to a sub-4 we could get. In all realistic terms, I didn't think it was even possible at where I was at fitness-wise, but I thought I'd give it the best that I could and have a bloody good go. It was just a case of trust the plan, stick to the plan. And my first week I messaged a few people that I was friends with at the running club and just said what I was going to do, and asked them if they'd support me on some of my long runs, give me some company. And the first week that I turned up, so did another 11 people. And
so you weren't short of company then?
No, and I was so thankful the fact that so many people went on my journey with me and helped me on it, but also developed themselves.
Well, I think, when I said at the start, I see you as a force of positivity. Do you not think that's been vindicated by the fact that when you wanted some people to come out and help you keep you company, you had a large number of people willing to do so?
Massively. I was very humbled by that. It was an amazing experience, and yeah, it dragged me around. When I was struggling, my first ever 18 mile, ran with Louise, and I was trying to talk myself out of quitting, and she just gave me a bit of a talking to. We dug deep and we got it done. I think my biggest battle for my marathon was, I thought I'd got it in the legs, but I just needed to make sure that I got it in the mind. And I think that was the hardest part.
So we've talked about your Chester experience. Let's talk about running in the future. What's the plans?
So this year went a bit to pot. This year I was meant to be doing the Nomad 50k, and then prior to that I was meant to be doing Manchester, which got moved, and I crazily signed up for the Snowdonia Marathon just to sort of challenge myself in a different way.
What's the plan? What do you want to happen then?
Get back to where I was fitness wise, because lockdown's not been nice to anyone. So shift a little bit of the weight that I've put on, get faster. Yeah, get faster. Obviously I've got Manchester, and then 2 weeks later now I've got Snowdonia next year. I'm still doing Nomad, and I'm sure I'll be doing some other crazy stuff along the way.
When you're out with Chant, we always ask our guests 3 questions, and you'll know these, but we'll ask them. So you've been running and racing since 2017.
Yep.
What has been your favourite race?
By a long way. Everyone's going to expect me to say Chester, but Chester was amazing for its own thing. My favourite race, because of what it was the London Landmarks.
Half marathon?
Yeah. It was such a well-run event, such a huge event. It was the biggest event I've ever done. The amount of people that were there, the amount of support, it was fantastic.
If you have the choice to go out and run whatever distance you would choose, what distance do you like to run?
Half marathon is my favourite, because you've got a bit of flexibility on it. You don't need to, like with the London Landmark, the first mile was a lot of walking because it was so congested, but you can make your time up. You don't need to worry about pushing so hard at the start. And yeah, I think I seem to do very well at half marathons. I pick up the pace quite well in the second half of them. So
if you could choose where in the world, anywhere, that you'd like to go and do those 13 miles, where would you like to run?
Around the coast of New Zealand.
Okay. And why over there?
It just looks absolutely amazing. It's one of our holiday destinations to the future. And definitely it's on the bucket list to do for sure.
So Anthony, thank you for coming out on a chat with Chant. Some great answers, and as I said, a force of positivity. Keep it up, and let's hope 2021 is your year.
Thank you.